Thank you so much all for coming this morning. It's great to be with all of you. Thanks for making the time, making the effort for something that may seem like... How many of you, actually, let's start with that. How many of you have ever tried practicing any form of mindfulness or meditation before? Everyone. Amazing. So no one, has anyone never practiced mindfulness or meditation before? Okay, one person. No worries, that's fine. And for all of you that have come today again, have you been someone who's been practicing and struggling with it, or you've tried it once and never tried it again? So how many of you have practiced and struggled with the practice? And how many of you have come and just, tried it a couple of times? Awesome. So whether you've tried it before, whether you've done it a million times before, hopefully this session will refine your skills if you're a practitioner already. And if you're brand new, then this will give you some new skills. So I'll try and make it super simple, super easy, and hopefully a session where you get, seeing as it's so small, a chance to ask as many questions as you like as well. And we've got 30 minutes, so we'll do a couple of exercises. I wanted to make this session as less sciencey as possible and as less theoretical as possible, and make it really practical and actually guide you through some sessions, as opposed to talk to you about the science of well-being and mindfulness, which I assume we all know, have heard enough of. But what we really need to know is, how do we make this practical? How do we do it on a daily basis? How do we make it real? So I'm going to ask you all to stand up, just because I like getting one up in the morning. And what I'd love for you to do, if you've seen me do this before, please go along with it. It's me just having fun. It's good to do it in the morning. So what I'd love for you to do is breathe in through your nose, raise your arms. Don't hurt anyone. Don't hit anyone in the face. Photographers, watch out. Blow out through your mouth and take to the top. Inhale and bring them to the side. Exhale and bring them together. I'd like you to cross your fingers. I'd like you to place your left thumb over your right thumb over your left thumb, or keep them straight just like this. So your left thumb over your right thumb over your left thumb, or keep them straight just like this. Make a choice. Don't be indecisive. Make one of them. Awesome. Okay, hold. Okay, awesome. So, as most of you know, or may not know, I lived as a monk for 3 years in India. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is a ton of great practices. No, hold. I'm being lazy. You're not allowed. You have to hold. See how long you can hold for without getting tired. I lived as a monk for 3 years, and what I'll be sharing with you today is some of the practices that we started off with, which give us such a great foundation in mindfulness and meditation. Often what's taught is so high level, so complicated. Today I'm going to teach you the basics that actually I apply every single day in my life. The second thing is, I studied behavioral science at business school, and the activity we've just done indicates something about your life. So how many of you have your left thumb over your right thumb? So in some parts of behavioral science, that means that you're extremely, extremely intelligent, right? You can look around and check and test with a colleague. And no, you can't change. No, you can't change. That would defeat the purpose of the subconscious exercise of psychology. How many of you have your right thumb over your left thumb? So that means, in some parts of behavioral science, that you're extremely attractive, right? You can test that with your partner at home, maybe. Go back and ask someone who's got a more real opinion, sees you in the morning. And how many of you have your thumbs pointing straight just like that? That means that you are neither, right? Give yourselves a round of applause. Take a seat. I didn't want to make you feel bad, but I had to do that. The first reason I did that is because mindfulness is fun. It's not this boring, grave topic where you have to get really serious and focused. Mindfulness doesn't work like that. Mindfulness is almost like play. Remember as kids, we loved playing? How many of us still make time for play? Or what do we define as play? Amazing, right? It's important. Similarly with mindfulness, it's play for the mind. It can be, if it's done in the right way. The second reason I did that exercise is because so much of our current tension, stress, pressure, any of that negative energy we feel is based on a friction between left and right, black and white, what we love to do and what we have to do, right? We have something called family, we have something called friends, we have something called work, we have something called life. And the more separate we see these things, the more divide there is, the more friction there is between those two. And those two separates, most of our life is so divided, we continuously feel that pressure, that tension, that negative energy, that stress. And today, I want to talk about how mindfulness, both chemically, biologically, but more practically, actually unites part of our lives, including our brain, and help it work more in cohesion and synergy so that we don't feel that friction and that tension. How many of you feel that your mind's always on play? Anyone ever feel that way? Yeah? Or on repeat sometimes? How many have mind on repeat? Right, so the way I like to describe mindfulness is that it's like a remote control. It gives you the ability to look at the menu of thoughts in your mind, gives you the ability to press pause, gives you the ability to rewind, gives you the ability to press fast forward, gives you the ability to press play. And all of those functions of mindfulness allow us to process our thoughts more effectively, just like with a remote control. Otherwise, when you have a television without a remote control, you're just sitting there watching whatever it's playing. And that's kind of our relationship with our mind. We're just sitting there watching whatever the mind wants to show us, rather than being able to interact with it and select and observe and choose what we want to process. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I want to start off just by sharing a few activities, few exercises, and also debunk a few of the myths of mindfulness and meditation, because I find that whenever we're doing these exercises, sometimes people's previous training or previous hearing affects how they experience it today. So how many times have you ever heard about mindfulness and meditation meaning that your mind has to be empty? Has anyone ever been told that? Right, a few people. That's not true, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, thank God, thank you. I saw a huge sigh of relief from this lady here. Feeling like your mind has to be empty. It's like when I say, okay, let's try this for a second. Think of nothing. What are you thinking of right now? Anyone thinking of breakfast? Right? Anyone thinking of what they've got to go through later today? We start thinking of something straight away. If I say, don't think of pink elephants. Everyone thinking of a pink elephant? Large or small? Big tail, small tail, right? But you can imagine it, you visualize it. So mindfulness is not thinking about nothing. It's definitely not. So I want to show you something very quickly. What I'd love for you all to do is rub your stomachs. I'm being serious. And I want you to pat your heads. And I want you to get it in complete synchronicity. Pat your heads. Make sure you're not rubbing your head and patting your stomach. Make sure it's rubbing your stomach and patting your head. You don't have to ruin your hair. Just get it in complete synchronicity, completely aligned. And now I'd like you to whisper your PIN code out loud. I'm joking, okay. Whisper your postcode or zip code, whatever code of whichever country you live in out loud. And just repeat that in synchronicity. 928, 928, 928, 928, 928. Stop. How many of you? Stop. Okay. How many of you are thinking about breakfast? How many of you are thinking about what you went to yesterday? How many of you think about next week? How many think about traveling plans? How many of you think about anything? You weren't. That wasn't a mindfulness exercise, by the way. You don't have to sit there doing that on the train or in your office. Why I love doing that activity, it shows you that when your mind is specifically aligned and focused on particular things, you get a sense of relief from your mind's pull to what it usually pulls you to. So if you just sit here and try to think of nothing, your mind will naturally drag you to everything you don't want to think about. When you can specifically move your mind to a particular activity, even something as silly as this, the mind becomes focused and directed in such a way that it doesn't feel distracted anymore. The challenge we have is that the activity we're taking it towards has to be somewhat attractive. So people think that the opposite of distraction is focus. The opposite of distraction is not focus, it's attraction. We're never distracted when we're attracted to something. Anyone ever had that experience? Whether it's a car, whether it's a home, whether it's a room, whether it's a color, whether it's a painting, whether it's a hotel. If you're attracted to something, you're completely fixated on it. You don't feel distracted. And hence the reason why we struggle so much with focus and attention is because of a lack of attraction. That's actually where it all stems from. And as I was talking about on Wednesday actually, our challenge is not with retention, it's with attention. We remember less because we're not attentive, not because our mind is not strong for retention. So that was a simple exercise just to show you how when we put our thoughts to one side. The second thing I like to talk about is how a lot of people think we have to do mindfulness if we're stressed or if we're in a negative situation. The science shows otherwise. Mindfulness is great for creativity, productivity, effectiveness, boosting our immune system, the ability to process thoughts more clearly, right? Being able to just get a sense of general relief, an energy boost. So if you're feeling that actually I don't feel stressed, I rarely feel any pressure or tension, mindfulness is just going to make you better. It's just going to enhance what you already have. If you think you're already fast at coming up with creative ideas, you'll get faster. If you already think you're great with numbers, you'll get better. It will just enhance the skills that you already have. So it doesn't have to be a reactive process. And the third misconception about mindfulness is you have to be sitting on the floor, you have to have a yoga mat, you have to be wearing yoga pants, you have to be on a mountaintop, you have to be somewhere really scenic, because every image of someone practicing mindfulness in the media shows you a really serene lady who's like sitting on top of a mountaintop, whatever it is, you know, and that's just not real. The beautiful thing about mindfulness, as I'll show you today, is you can do it sitting at your desk, you can do it on a train, you can do it in a car, as long as you're not driving. You can do it in a car, right? You can do it while you're sitting in a conference, while you're even listening to me right now, while you're listening to speakers all day. You could be practicing exercises and activities that are going to help you manage your energy better and manage your mind better. And I do it when I'm sitting on other people's sessions. You can still be totally attentive, if not more, and actually stop your mind from being distracted. So what I'm going to show you now is a really incredible activity. Some of you may already do this, or some of us do it subconsciously, or some of us aren't doing it at all. And it's actually the ideal type of breathing, biologically and chemically. It's called diaphragmatic breathing. How many of you have actually ever practiced diaphragmatic breathing? Great, not many, that's good. So diaphragmatic breathing is optimal breathing. It's the breathing that's taught to athletes, it's the breathing that's taught to singers. So when Adele has to hit those notes, she's been practicing diaphragmatic breathing so well that she can hit those notes. When football players have to run for 90 minutes, they're practicing diaphragmatic breathing so that they can run for 90 minutes and have full energy. The challenge with us is we forget that we're also athletes, right? Whether we like it or not, we are athletes. We use our body on a daily basis. And if anything, we use our body in a much worse way than athletes do. Athletes have a set way of using their body, energizing their body. We barely make it to the gym on a daily basis. So being able to take care of our breathing is such a powerful thing. And I'm going to share a story before we just dive into it. And the reason I share this story is it just, the first time I heard it, it completely emphasized to me the importance of powerful breathing. And it was my first day of monk school. So believe it or not, there is such a thing. When I moved to India, shaved my head, wore robes, lived as a monk, I went to my first day of monk school and I saw a 10-year-old monk teaching this to younger monks. So the community I lived in, kids became monks at 5 years old. And there was this monk that was 10 years old. He was teaching younger monks. And I saw him teaching. I said, "What were you teaching?" He said, "That was their first day of school." I said, "Incredible." And he said, "What did you learn at your first day of school?" And I said, "I think we learned ABCs or 1, 2, 3s or something like that." And I said, "What did you teach them?" And he said, "I taught them how to breathe." And I said, "Okay, that's interesting. Like, why did they have to learn how to breathe?" He said, "I taught them how to breathe because we were taught as monks that the only thing that stays with you from the moment you're born till the very end is your breath. And the incredible thing about your breath is that your job changes, your country changes, your life changes, your relationships change, everything in your life changes. But your breath is always with you. It's experiencing everything with you." And he said, when you feel different emotions, what changes? Your breath. When you're running for a bus or a train or a plane and you're late, what changes? Your breath. When you're angry or sad, what changes? Your breath. When you smile and you're happy and you're elated, you get the best news of your life, what changes? And you celebrate? Your breath. So your breath is linked to every human emotion. And therefore, if you want to manage your emotions and you want to manage your mind, you have to learn to manage your breath. And when I heard that, it left such a remarkable impact on me, because for the first time I was like, yeah, I need to learn how to breathe because my breath is connected to every human emotion. And so when I did my research and found that actually athletes, musicians, people who play wind instruments, anyone who is actively using their body is always focused on breath. So I'm going to show you a very simple exercise. What I'd like you to do is take your left hand and I'd like you to place it on your stomach. And you can remain seated, so that's great. I'm just sitting down to make it so that we can reflect on each other. It'll be slightly unflattering for me because you'll get to see my stomach come out, but I'll show you how it works. So what I'd like you to do, so our general breathing is generally very shallow, and our general breathing is not diaphragmatic. So if you remember as a kid, you were told, breathe into your lungs. Anyone ever remember that? Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and we try and expand our chest. The funny thing is real breathing is diaphragmatic. So what should expand when you inhale is your diaphragm, right? For us, our stomach, to make it simpler. But our diaphragm is what needs to expand. So I'm going to show you just this very simple breath. I don't want you to do it this time. I just want to show you a very simple breath. And you'll see me inhale, and when I inhale, you'll see my stomach come out. And when I'll exhale through my mouth slightly open, you'll see my stomach come in. So just observe those two things. When I inhale, see my stomach come out, and when I exhale through my mouth slightly open, you'll see my stomach come back in. So just watch this for a second. Saw that? Yeah? So that's diaphragmatic breathing. A, it allows you to get far more oxygen into your body. B, it allows a much more natural form. Whenever you breathe from up here in your chest, you kind of feel like a limit there. It kind of stops because you can't actually fill up our lungs that way in the same way as when we can through our diaphragm. So I want you to try that out with me a few times. So really let yourself feel your stomach come out. Don't be shy. Everyone's looking at their own stomachs. So you can look at your own and just literally breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth slightly wide open. Feel it come in. Breathe in through your nose. And mouth slightly open. Breathe out. Breathe in through your nose. Mouth slightly open, out. Breathe in through your nose. Mouth slightly open. Breathe in through your nose. Mouth slightly open. Try that a few times on your own. You don't need to force your breath. It's your natural breathing pattern. Stop right there. How many of you found that unnatural? How many of you found that a bit difficult? Right, yeah. And how many of you found that quite natural and easy? Okay, pretty much half-half. So for those of you who found it natural and unnatural and uneasy, that's exactly how I felt the first time I did it. And now that I've been practicing breathing like that for many, many years, and often I forget too. So if I'm jet lagged, if I'm traveling a lot, if I'm rushing around a lot, if my life gets more stressful, I forget to breathe like that. But I have a reference point to come back to. So every time I notice myself running out of breath, getting tired, feeling stressed, I'll just literally put my hand on my stomach and I'll breathe like that again.
So is this a way you learn to breathe and you do it all the time, or you just use it in certain circumstances like the ones you just described?
So at the beginning, you will use it when necessary, but over time, it should program to breathing like that all the time. Our biggest challenge with stress and energy levels and everything is that we're not breathing correctly. It's as simple as that. So much of it is not about our particular state of work at that time or a particular interaction. So much of it is how much oxygen we have in our body. So much of it is how much we're processing all of the energy in our body. So much of it is based on our circulation in our body. So much of our health and well-being is so much more related with our breath than even our particular situations or circumstances, or at least our breath will help us manage it better. So I would say try and breathe like this all the time, but at least try and use it as a spare tire, right? If the car's breaking down, pull this out, right? And if you can have it as your steering wheel, that's the best. But as much as you can, at least bringing that practice back. Yes?
How important is the exhale through the mouth? Because we're in and out pretty much through the nose, right?
Yeah, so if you can do it through the nose, that's great. If you're already able to breathe primarily or only through the nose, that's incredible. If you find yourself needing to use the mouth just to become more conscious of the air going out, just slightly open is useful. But yes, if you're very comfortable with your nose and breathing in and out through the nose, then that's absolutely fine. The mouth just helps us become more conscious of the breath going out and being able to release for a bit longer sometimes as well. So does everyone want to practice a real session together? Yeah, so I'd like you to use that type of breathing throughout the session. If it is uneasy and unnatural, don't worry about it, let it go. But for those of you who want to develop it as a practice, even if it's slightly more difficult to start with, I recommend it because you'll start noticing how powerful that breathing is and how helpful it is. So what I'd like you to do is keep your feet firmly on the ground. Don't have your legs crossed over, don't have them hunched like this. Don't keep your heels on the floor or your ankles, have them earthed. You can sit up in your seats, but you don't need to sit up artificially straight. Be comfortably straight. If you want to lean against the backrest, do that too. You don't have to be cross-legged. You don't have to be completely pinned up through the top. You can just be a natural, comfortable space. Awesome. If anyone of you want to take your shoes off, you can. If it makes you feel more comfortable, it definitely helps. You can take your shoes off. If you want to take your jackets off, anyone wearing jackets, feel free to do that as well, just to feel looser. Whatever helps you get more comfortable. Now, if you feel like moving during this exercise, move. If you feel like itching your hair or whatever it is, scratching your head, whatever it is, do it. It's not a problem. All of those myths around, oh, you're not allowed to move. Yes, we did that as monks. We weren't allowed, but you're not monks, so it's okay. You're allowed. Feel free. If your leg's hurting for a second, move it. Like, don't sit in pain thinking that that's what mindfulness is. If you need to readjust so that you can focus better, feel free to do that. Remember, it's about attraction. Are you attracted to this body space? Are you attracted to the posture you have? If you're attracted to it, you won't feel distracted. If you're just trying to force yourself to focus, it won't work. Awesome. And with your hands, yeah, perfect. Everyone's already doing it. Rest them on your legs, or you can keep them here, but don't have them dangling by your sides, or don't have them up at all. So resting here is great. And I'm going to ask you to lower your gaze, close your eyes. And I can see if you don't close your eyes, because I haven't closed mine yet. So just close your eyes. And what I'd like you to do is bring your awareness, and please can we not have pictures at this time, just for the sound, etc. So just while everyone's eyes are closed. What I'd like you to do is bring your awareness to calm, balance, ease, stillness, and comfort. It's natural that your mind will wander, and every time your mind wanders and you catch it, don't feel disappointed, don't feel upset or frustrated. Just gently and softly bring it back to the sound of my voice. So very naturally your mind will wander, and as soon as you catch it, which is all you have to do, just gently and softly bring it back to the sound of my voice. And bring back your awareness to calm, balance, ease, stillness, and peace. Whenever your mind wanders, just gently and softly bring it back to calm, balance, ease, stillness, and peace. I'd like you to place your left hand on your stomach and just become aware of your natural breathing pattern. Breathe in through your nose, feel your diaphragm come out, and breathe out and feel your diaphragm come in. In your own time, at your own pace, just become aware of your natural breathing pattern. No force, no pressure. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth or nose, whatever's comfortable. Just becoming aware of your diaphragm coming in and out. Don't worry about doing it right or properly. As long as you're breathing in, feeling your diaphragm come out, and breathing out and feeling your diaphragm come in. Just become aware of your natural breathing pattern. No force in your breath, no pressure, just calm, balance, ease, and peace. Whenever your mind wanders, just gently and softly bringing it back to the sound of my voice. Breathing in positive, uplifting, refueling energy, and breathing out any toxic, negative, tension-filled energy. Feeling yourself breathing in, revitalizing energy, and really letting go in your exhale of any negative energy any tension or stress. Feeling your body get lighter on the exhale. Just become aware of your natural breathing pattern. No force or pressure. In your own time, at your own pace. And if you're finding it uneasy to do the diaphragmatic breathing, you can switch back to normal breathing. Just becoming aware of your natural breathing pattern. And if your mind wanders or there's any distractions, just catch it and gently bring it back to your natural breathing pattern. What I'd like you to do now is breathe in for a count of 3 and breathe out for a count of 3. Breathe in for a mental count of 1, 2, 3, and breathe out for a mental count of 1, 2, 3. No force or pressure, just naturally breathing in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 1, 2, 3. Visualizing the numbers in your mind, and whenever your mind wanders, just gently and softly bringing it back to your count of 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. In your own time, at your own pace, no force or pressure. And when you're ready, in your own time, at your own pace, you can bring back your awareness to this room by opening your eyes. No force, no pressure. And take a moment. In your own time, at your own pace. Now you can be honest, how did that feel? And you can tell me either good or bad, positive or negative. How did it feel? How do you feel right now?
Calming.
Anyone feel calm? Be honest, you have to say that to me. I've dealt with all sorts. how many of you feel peaceful? Okay. Anyone else feel any other words? Energized. Amazing. Happy. Well, that's good. This is a good group. You must all have been practicing before. Anyone else? Anyone feel tired? Okay, yeah. I always say this to people. If you feel tired after practicing mindfulness or you fall asleep, that's your body is trying to tell you stuff. The one thing we forget is that our body is like an alert. It's a signal. Our body is trying to tell us what to do all the time. Right? When you feel hungry, when you feel tired, it's trying to tell you what it wants. And when it's trying to tell you what it wants, it can sometimes be like a child. When a child tries to tell you what it wants, it can throw a tantrum, it can get really annoyed, it can get frustrated, and that's what our body does. So if our body gets frustrated, it goes into alarm mode and switches off, gets tired, can't push through. So your body's trying to tell you that we need sleep. Now you were just doing mindfulness for 7 minutes, right? How long did it feel like?
5.
Shorter, right? It should have felt shorter. And that's the incredible thing about time, that even though you practiced, it didn't feel like that longer time because you were able to just find that space quicker. And whether you do this throughout the day, either after doing this, you can use this as a signaling method. It will either tell you you need more sleep, or it will leave you feeling energized or calm and peaceful and bring you back in the right mode. So I'll tell you what we did there. When you breathe in for the same count as you breathe out, how many of you ever feel that your mind is rushing ahead of your body? Your mind's really active, but your body's saying, ugh. Anyone feel like that? And how many of you feel the other way around? Your body's working really hard, but your mind's going, I just want to be in bed. Right? So we're usually out of sync. All of us, usually our body's ahead of our mind or our mind's ahead of our body. When you breathe in for the same amount of time as you breathe out, you're bringing your mind and body back into sync. it's so amazing to be able to do that. You're literally bringing your body and mind back into alignment. And when your mind and your body are aligned, you're aligned and you feel balanced, you feel centered. That's what it means to feel centered, to feel balanced, is to bring our mind and body into alignment. When you breathe out for longer than you breathe in, you relax the body. So if anyone struggles with sleep, or if anyone struggles with relaxing, all you have to do is inhale for 3 and exhale for 3 or more. When you exhale for longer than you breathe in, inhale, you actually relax and de-stress the body. So those are 2 very simple activities. If you're just feeling out of sync and you want to balance, breathe in for 3 and out for 3. If you're feeling tired and you can't sleep or you really want to de-stress, exhale for longer than you inhale, and you'll see a huge difference in the way you feel. And I always like to say mindfulness is like a gym for the mind. When you first turn up at the gym, all the machines look very complicated. You think, oh, there's so many of them. How many reps of this do I have to do? Oh, God. And you don't walk out the first day with a six-pack. You don't walk out the first day with your ideal body. But you know that consistent effort over time of just something very simple will get you the result you want. So if you only practice 7 minutes a day, just like we did today, and all you did was breathe in and out, 3 times in, 3 times out, of that breath with that visual count, you'll just start to see. And the main thing I recommend is doing this in all your gaps. So I'll do this while I'm sitting in a session later on today. I'll do this when I'm on the train. I'll do this when I'm a passenger in a car. I'll do this when I'm on the plane, when we're just about to take off. I basically fill all my gaps with this type of breathing. And that way I'm breathing like this more often than not. So I try and do it at the start and end of everything. I'll even sometimes do it at the start and end of writing an email, right? Because we write so many emails. So just before I start an email, I'll breathe like this. And when I send it, I'll breathe like this. When I get on a plane, I'll breathe like this. And when we're about to land, I'll breathe like this. I try and top and tail every activity I do throughout the day with this type of breathing so that I'm just practicing it more and more and more. So feel free to do it. You don't have to take out 7 minutes a day. You can just be consciously doing this. Whenever you're doing anything else, it will take you 30 seconds to get into it. And then you can listen to someone speak and you'll be far more attentive because your body will be far more aligned. Any last questions? Yes?
What's your view on the guided meditations, like the various apps?
Yeah.
Headspace or Calm, are those good tools to...
I think they're fantastic. I think Headspace and Calm are both great apps. I always say to people that as the many more physical sessions you can go to, the better you'll be on an app. Like, I think this kind of environment is the best way to learn how to meditate and practice mindfulness because it's human touch. If we had longer, I'd be able to go and give you all individual feedback on your breath, etc. There's so much you can do. So if you can go to a gym or a yoga center near your home, then I highly recommend live classes because you'll just get it more personalized. It's the same as having a personal trainer or having a Fitbit on. Fitbit can only tell you what's happening. A personal trainer can improve you. So I always believe in mentorship and personal training, but apps are a great substitute if you don't have that access. Any other thoughts or questions?
What does the training look like? I've been using an app for the last month as a
Yeah.
meditation challenge, and it seems to be, it got me in the habit
Yes.
of doing it.
Yes.
But what would feedback look like?
Yeah, so the best feedback, what I always like to say is you can never, ever get rid of negative thoughts or emotions or feelings. You can never, ever get rid of feeling exhausted or tired. That's just not going to happen in our busy lives. But what mindfulness trains you to do is spot it quicker and react to it quicker and respond to it quicker. So what is your speed of response? For example, if you're having a negative thought, before it would linger in your mind for a week, oh, that person said that at work, for example, or that person's playing games at work, whatever it may be. That would have been on your mind for a week. Now it's on your mind for an hour. You've been able to find it. You've been able to find clarity and peace with it, and you've been able to let it go. So what's changed is your speed to response. What you can't change is feeling a way, but you can change your speed to response and dealing with it. Does that help? That's the best feedback. That's the best feedback. You don't dwell on things for as long as you used to. Things don't take up as much real estate in your mind for as long as they used to anymore. That's a good feedback. Awesome. So we're going to have to stop there. If you have any more questions for me, I'm outside. If you have any more personal questions for me, hopefully that was useful. Hopefully it was a good use of 30 minutes. And please practice it. Practice it throughout the day today. Today's going to be your best day of practice. You just learned it. If you practice anything in the first 24 hours of learning it, it's going to stick. So practice it as many times as you can. But yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.